Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about how to make the most out of your job, your career, your profession, wherever you are in your life that is your primary source of income. So guys, listen, wherever you're at, if you're either complacent with your job or maybe you're doing a business on the side or you want to advance in your career, there's things that you can do in your current environment that can move you forward. So in a job, right, you're working with other people, you're working long hours, right? There's the opportunity, they have different opportunities, different growth positions, right, in some companies. So basically what I'm trying to communicate to you guys is that you need to maximize everything you can in your job, right? Everybody, some of you guys have goals to be entrepreneurs, some of you guys have goals to be investors, some of you guys just want to, have a good career. Maybe you want to be an executive in your company. Whatever your goal is, you want to make sure that you're doing everything in your power where you're at to make that goal a reality. Whether it's, like I said, being an investor, being an executive, being a business owner, whatever it is, right? So in a job, right, if you're going to your job and you're just, kind of just tootling along, you're not really going to work with some goals or intentions, it's going to be a very depressing experience, right? Because, I was just thinking about this earlier because I'm a store manager, so I have a lot of like workers that show up late, they want to leave early or they call out, whatever it is, right? And in my head, I'm like, I honestly truly believe that these people call out, show up late, or, just flat out don't perform well because they just don't have goals, right? So if you're working, right, and you're just aimlessly going to work without an intention or without an end goal sort of for what you want to see from that job, right? Because whether we realize it or not, where we're at is going to make us or break us. So you can either use your job to further your career, further your income and increase your income, or you're going to let it destroy you and be like, oh, this job sucks. I don't have enough money. It doesn't pay enough. I don't get paid enough to do this type of work, whatever it is, right? So there's sort of like a two-sided perspective that you can adopt. And I obviously am of the conviction that you should adopt the viewpoint and perspective of, hey, I'm going to do the most I can in this profession, in this career, in this job, so that I can increase my income, so that I can buy assets, so that I can learn how to scale a business or run my own business, whatever it is. So I think that, we have sort of a weird twisted view of work where we think that this is going to last forever, or, they don't pay enough, or, my boss sucks, my coworkers suck, right? So all this negativity. But if you have goals, right, and you're at work, you're showing up, you're doing everything you can actually use that job to continue to grow in your income, to save money, to invest, right, to learn new things. So I think it's very important that you adopt that mindset. So if you're in a job right now, how do you advance? How do you, promote? How do you make more money? It's very simple. So there's 3 ways to sort of like really max out where you're at. And it's obviously 1, promoting, right? Number 2 is overtime, work as much as you can. And number 3 is network. Now, let me go into overtime. So I'm not saying that you guys need to work 100 hours a week, but if you can work between 50 and 70 hours a week, that's a healthy, that's like that number between 50 and 70, it's like it's enough to really like have that extra money, but it's not gonna burn you out. It's not gonna because I've worked between 80 and 100 hours. Once you get to that point, it's like, all right, now it's like I have no time for the gym, I have no time to study. So I think between 50 and 70 is doable for a lot of people. But you have to work overtime, right? Because that overtime, obviously they pay, some places pay double time, some places pay time and a half, but in order to obviously, show your boss that you're a go-getter and a hard worker, you want to stay those extra hours. And like I said, I'm not saying it has to be something where you're doing 100 hours or you're working, 7 days a week, but a good between 50 and 70 hours is definitely something that your employer, your boss will notice. And then, if you do that over time, over a year, 2-3 years, and think about it, right? When you're working overtime, there's you're going to learn more things about your profession or your career than others, because they're only there 30, 40 hours and you're there 60, 70 hours. So who do you think is going to know more? Who do you think is going to have more experience dealing with different things, right? It's going to be the person who's there more, right? Who has the more exposure. So that's very key to really grasp and understand. So number one is overtime. Number two is you want to promote, right? You obviously, you want to advance, right? Because obviously when you promote, you make more money. And then the more you promote, right, like each job title that you want to advance towards has different responsibilities, has different things you need to learn. So you're always growing, you're always learning things, right? So and the higher you go, right, which also will lead into point number three, but the higher you go, the more people respect you, the more people want to work with you, the more people will, they'll want to pick your brain, ask you questions, right? And then it just opens more doors for networking. And obviously, you make more money. So that's definitely, I don't know if I should have put that as number one, but number two is definitely to take promotions when they come, right? If your boss asks you, hey, do you want to travel 30 minutes to this location or whatever? Do you want to commute an hour? Take it, right? Maybe you might not want to commute, but hey, it might just be a short period of time, right? So promoting is definitely always a positive when it comes to advancing your career and increasing your income. And number three is network, right? Because obviously, and here's the thing with networking, I feel like people get a big or they don't understand correctly, is that networking isn't necessarily, you're not kissing someone's ass, right? You're not brown nosing. I mean, some people can brown nose or kind of dick ride in a sense, but you're just making yourself you're just showing your presence to people. Like, hey, like I'm here. It doesn't have to be like, you're trying to kiss someone's ass, but ask them questions, introduce yourself, right? Because when you take interest in people, they'll sense that you want more out of where you're currently at. You want to see more for your future and your career. So I definitely think that networking is a must. Because like I said, the more people the better. If you know one person, that's great. But if you know 10 people and they all have, they all see you in a positive light, then they'll tell more people about you, right? Hey, this person works hard. Hey, this person helped me out here. Hey, this person wants to learn how to do X or wants to learn how to do Y. So the more people the better. And I'm not saying you got to be like this, clout chasing, try to be like popular in your career type of like mentality. It's more so as like, hey, like I'm just trying to learn, and I just want to be open to as much exposure as I can by knowing the most amount of people. Because think about it, right? The more people the more you can learn, because different people know different things. So not everyone, if you know one person, that person doesn't know what 5 other people know. You know what I mean? So everyone has different skills and different sort of like pieces of advice that they can give you, that because everyone has a different experience, right? So if you can learn from all of those people, then that can sort of shine a light on you, and you can take that and move it along with your career, and obviously advance and make more money. So yeah, that's it, guys. Those are 3 tips for you guys if you want to advance in your career, make more money, like I said, to build a business, to invest, whatever it is. But you definitely want to max out where you're at, right? Because like I said, I mean, I've mentioned this in another video, but God or the universe or infinite intelligence isn't going to want to give you more if you're not filling up where you're already at, if you're not maxing out where you're at, right? Because like I said, it's like a video game. If you're at level 1 and you can't even beat the boss at level 1, how are you going to get to level 2, right? How are you going to fight the boss? You're thinking about level 2, but you can't even beat the boss at level 1, right? So that's the sort of approach that you got to take to this, and I think it'll turn out well for you guys. So yeah, that's it. That's all, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are new, please make sure to subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.